It's 2 a.m. in Moscow. Your phone just lit up with a single address. No name, no instructions, no context, and the autorité who sent it expects one thing. That address will no longer be a problem before the sun comes up. You sit in the dark for exactly 11 seconds. Not because you're afraid. You haven't felt afraid in years. You sit because you're running the route in your head. Every intersection, every traffic light, every patrol car might be parked on every corner between here and there. You're not what people picture when they hear the word Bratva. No tattoos on your knuckles, no gold chains, no shaved head. You wear a tailored suit. You drive a black Mercedes E-Class registered to a logistics company that exists only on paper. Your neighbors think you're in supply chain management. Your daughter's teachers think you travel for work. They're not entirely wrong. You've received this exact type of message 14 times before. One address, no name. And every single time you did exactly what you're about to do now. You stand up. You pull on your coat. You check the glove box. The Makarov PM is wrapped in a dark cloth, Soviet-era sidearm. Standard military issue from 1951 all the way to 2003. Millions of them flooded the black market after the Soviet collapse. This one has been used 3 times before tonight. After tonight, it will never be used again. You pull out of the garage and into the Moscow night. The city looks different to you than it does to 14 million other people. Tourists see golden domes and neon lights reflecting off the river. You see a chessboard. Every block is controlled by someone. Every restaurant is a front or a meeting point. Every police cruiser you pass is on someone's payroll. You pass the Cathedral of Christ the Savior. It glows gold against the black sky. It's beautiful. You don't look at it. You pull onto the 3rd ring road. 18 minutes to the warehouse. And the brigadier waiting there has something to tell you about tonight's target that changes everything. Level 2. The network. The warehouse sits in the Kapotnia district. Southeast Moscow. Industrial. Low-income housing. The kind of neighborhood where nobody asks questions because questions have never led to anything good. 2 cars outside. No lights visible from the street. You kill the engine and walk through a side door that hasn't been locked in 3 years. Inside, the air smells like diesel and cold concrete. The brigadier is already waiting. He's a thick man with hands like engine blocks and a face that has never smiled for a photograph. He doesn't greet you. He never greets you. He hands you a clean phone. Prepaid. Bought in bulk from a kiosk in Nizhny Novgorod 600 kilometers away. Completely untraceable. Then he gives you a police scanner frequency. Tonight's patrols in the Presnensky district have been adjusted. 3 officers from the target's usual security rotation are currently sitting in a bar on Bolshaya Gruzinskaya Street. Each one received a thick envelope this afternoon. Then he tells you who the target is. A federal prosecutor. He doesn't say the name. He never says the name. He calls him the problem on the 6th floor. But here's what shifts the air in the room. The prosecutor was warned. 3 separate times. He was given every chance to walk away, to close the file, to take the quiet retirement and the envelope that came with it. He refused. He chose to keep pulling on a thread connected to $400 million in construction contracts. Contracts with the authority's fingerprints on one side and a deputy minister's signature on the other. This is what the outside world doesn't understand about the Bratva. It's not a gang hiding from the government. It hasn't been that since the 1990s. During the Soviet collapse, former KGB officers, oligarchs, and Bratva leaders carved up state assets at the same table. They built something new together, something fused. The Russian word for it is krisha. It means roof, protection. Everyone is under someone's roof, and every roof connects to another roof, all the way to the top. The brigadier pours 2 glasses of vodka. You don't touch yours. You never drink before work. He knows this. He poured it anyway. Ritual. You ask one question, clean or message. He says clean. This one stays quiet. You leave the warehouse at 2047 a.m. The drive to Presnensky takes 22 minutes. And every traffic camera between here and there has already been handled. Level 3. Apartment 614, Przensky at 3 a.m. is silent. Rain came through earlier. The streets are slick. Orange light from Soviet-era street lamps reflects off black asphalt like spilled paint. The apartment building is a post-Soviet construction. 10 stories, coded entry. The code arrived on the clean phone 17 minutes ago. You use the side entrance. The main entrance has a doorman. But the side door has nothing except a lock that was disabled an hour ago by a tech specialist who also does contract work for the FSB Signals Intelligence Division. He probably doesn't see the irony. Or maybe he does. Maybe he just doesn't care anymore. You take the stairs, not the elevator. Elevators have cameras that are harder to disable remotely. The stairwell camera was looped 40 minutes ago. Same tech specialist, same paycheck, different client. 6th floor. The hallway smells like floor cleaner and boiled cabbage. Apartment 614. Second door from the stairwell. The door is unlocked, not forced, not picked, unlocked. Someone on the inside of this man's life made sure of that tonight. A colleague, a housekeeper, someone who was either paid or pressured, or both. You don't know who. You will never know. You will never know. You were never meant to. Inside, a single light is on. The kitchen. A man sits at the table with files spread in front of him. Case files. Financial records. Construction permits with signatures that lead to the most dangerous men in the country. He's still working at 3 a.m. in the case that is about to end his career and his life in the same moment. He looks up. And this is the part that stays with you longer than anything else. He doesn't scream. He doesn't reach for a phone. He doesn't beg. He has the expression of a man who always knew this night would come. He was warned 3 times. He chose the files anyway. 90 seconds later, you're back in the stairwell. Your pulse is 74 beats per minute, the same as when you walked in. And that's the part that should disturb you. Not what just happened, but how little your body reacted to it. 14 times. And your hands haven't shaken once. You descend the stairs the same way you climb them. Calm. Measured. And by sunrise, every trace that you were ever in this building will be erased. Not by you. By the city itself. Level 4. The erasure. The Makarov comes apart in 4 pieces. Slide. Frame. Barrel. Magazine. Each piece enters the Moskva River from a different bridge. 4 bridges. 4 stops. 4 quiet splashes that no one hears and no one reports. The river has swallowed worse. Your suit goes into a construction dumpster behind a shopping center on Kutuzovsky Prospekt. $2,000 of Italian wool was compressed into a landfill by 8 a.m. It will never be found. You change in the back seat of a different car. A Boyek left it in a parking garage 2 hours ago, keys under the visor. He doesn't know why he was told to park it there. He was just told, and in the Bratva, being told is enough. By 5 a.m., you're sitting at a gas station on the Markod Ring Road. Paper cup of coffee. Clean jacket. You look like every other commuter heading to an early shift. Nobody looks at you twice. Nobody ever looks at you twice. The body is found at 7:15 a.m. Police arrive at 7:32. The initial report says suspected robbery. The prosecutor's wallet and watch are gone. But you didn't take them. A separate operative entered the apartment after you left. His only job was to remove those items, to make it look like a random street crime that followed a man home. By noon, the investigation is reassigned. The new prosecutor assigned to the case has been receiving Kreisha payments from the Avtoritet's network for 6 years. He knows exactly which files to close, which questions to stop asking, which phone calls should you never return. The investigation will run for 4 months. It will produce no suspects, no arrests, no leads. It will conclude with a 2-word finding that has closed more cases in Russia than any detective ever has: unknown assailants. The file will gather dust in a cabinet in the investigative committee building. One more unsolved case in a country where contract killings historically carry a conviction rate below 10%. The system doesn't just protect you. It digests the evidence. It replaces the investigators. It rewrites the narrative before the body is even cold. You're not a man who got away with something. You're a function inside a machine that was designed to make sure no one ever has to get away with anything, because nothing ever officially happened in the first place. You pull into your parking garage at 5:47 a.m. Your daughter's shoes are by the front door. Her backpack is packed for school. And in 3 hours, you'll sit across from her at the breakfast table and ask her what she wants for lunch. Level 5. The wait. You shower for 11 minutes. The water is scalding. You don't adjust it. You make breakfast. Eggs, toast, orange juice for her. Black coffee for you. No sugar. She walks into the kitchen in her school uniform. She's 9 years old. She asks why you look tired. You tell her you couldn't sleep. She accepts this the way 9-year-olds accept everything their fathers tell them, without doubt, without hesitation, with complete trust in a man who has never deserved it less than he does right now. You drive her to school. You walk her to the gate. You kiss her forehead. A normal father on a normal morning. The sun is out. That evening you attend her school play. She sings a song about spring. You sit in the third row. You clap. You record it on your phone. You smile at other parents and say the things parents say at school plays. And then you see him. 3 rows back. Gray coat. Clean shave. Reading glasses he doesn't actually need. It's an old intelligence habit. A prop that makes a dangerous man look academic. Approachable. He's FSB. Federal Security Service. Successor to the KGB's Domestic Operations Division. 350,000 personnel are embedded in every layer of Russian life. But he's not here for you. He's not surveillance. He's not a threat. His daughter goes to this school. She's in your daughter's class. They had a play date last month. Your daughter told you that her daughter is her best friend. He knows what happened last night, not the details. He doesn't need details. He knows the way a mechanic knows an engine was serviced, by the fact that it's running smoothly again. The prosecutor who was pulling on dangerous threads is no longer pulling. The construction contracts are safe. The deputy minister will sleep soundly tonight. The system continues. And you know what he did last month? A journalist in St. Petersburg whose laptop was seized during a midnight raid. A source who recanted her testimony after 2 men in plain clothes visited her apartment. An investigation into FSB corruption that quietly and permanently lost its funding. You nod at each other across the auditorium. 2 fathers at a school play. 2 men who serve different arms of the same machine. One wears a badge, one doesn't. And the distance between those 2 things is so small now that neither of you could measure it if you tried. After the play, your daughter holds your hand in the parking lot. She tells you she wants to be a veterinarian when she grows up. You squeeze her hand. You tell her she'd be a great one. You drive home. You cook dinner. You help with homework. You read her a story. You tuck her in. You close her bedroom door and stand in the hallway for a moment, listening to her breathe. Then you walk to the kitchen. You sit in the dark. It's 11 p.m. The apartment is silent. Your phone is on the table in front of you. It hasn't buzzed tonight. Maybe it won't buzz tomorrow. Maybe you'll have a week. Maybe 2. Maybe you'll have a long enough to almost forget what you are. But it will buzz again. It always buzzes again. And you'll pick it up. Not because you want to. Not because you're afraid of what happens if you don't, but because you are a load-bearing wall in a structure so vast that your removal would crack the foundation. You are not a criminal in the way the outside world understands criminals. You're not a soldier. You're not even a man anymore. Not in any way that word used to mean something to you. You're infrastructure. And infrastructure doesn't get to stop. Tomorrow morning, Moscow will wake up. 14 million people will go to work. They'll drop their kids off at school. They'll drink coffee and complain about traffic and argue about football and live their lives inside a system they will never fully see. And somewhere, in a quiet apartment that looks like every other apartment, a phone will buzz. One address, no name. And a man who looks exactly like everyone else will pick it up. Because he always picks it up.